I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. And just a quick glimpse, this is my family in Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico. My father was a civil engineer, and actually he built Coca-Cola bottling plants for one of the largest bottlers of Coca-Cola in Mexico. And my mom was a teacher. And my two sisters, which I love, I wanted to show you this picture because I love the look in my eyes. I was like, always like curious, and I was like crazy kid. I wanted to eat the whole world. Okay, but I don't know. I was always very passionate and curious. But the reason I want to show you this is because it's one of the calling that God put in my heart. And this calling has to do with stories, which I'm going to explain to you in a little bit. The first time that I saw Star Wars, this was over 30 years ago, I remember I could not sleep for like days because I was like mesmerized, right? I wanted to be Luke Skywalker and just like, and like the little kid that walked like Darth Vader and, I was crazy about it. But soon I realized that it was not only like Star Wars movies or my father, who worked for Coca-Cola, gave me my first school bag. It was a Coca-Cola school bag. And oh boy, I loved it. By the way, everything related to my father, I mean, he was a man of integrity, super nice guy. And I used to say, man, my hero worked for this cool company. That's amazing. And, but it was not beverages or movies. It was everything. I'm telling you. When I was a teenager, I used to like paint brands and logos on the walls of my room. And it was just, I don't know why. I was drawn to great brands and, the stories behind it and all about it. So eventually, I created my own company in the year 2000. The company, it's Rojo 032. This is an early picture. This was taken about 10 years ago. And we were about 20-something people, and we were very crazy. You can see it in my eyes there. It's kind of like the projection of the little kid, but crazier. And we developed over 1,000 brands in Mexico and in the US. Some of the examples that I want to show you. This is my home state. We rebranded into this. The largest coffee chains in the northeast part of Mexico. This is the rebrand into that. I just wanted to show you, I mean, this is our life and blood every day. But really, I felt that it was ego-driven success type. And let me tell you why, what happened. Well, around 2009, things got really, really bad. My hometown is very peaceful. We're about 1.2 million people. And eventually, one business leader got kidnapped, and everybody was like, whoa. Everybody was like in panic, But then it was like one business guy every month, and then daily. And I'm telling you because in my office, we met 5, 6, 7 business owners every day in different parts of the office, like conference room, etc. And it's like, where's our guy? Oh, they kidnapped just yesterday. What? My friend? Yeah, like, wow. So it was a dramatic experience. Of course, I was in fear, okay? But I discovered that fear is a lack of faith. And more than that, I discovered that I asked God, why I have so much fear? Well, guess what? I guess I was not living the life that God intended me to live, okay? So I started pushing through the barriers and getting closer to Him. I think I was, I don't think, I know, I was living a very worldly life, okay? So I soul search. I try to do more God activities. I go into more like retreats and reading the Word of God by myself and just like, it was kind of like just me trying to get there, right? But soon I found this scripture, Matthew 10:28. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered, so don't be afraid. you're worth more than many sparrows, 10:28. So with this Bible verse, with the Word of God, my heart was filled with peace and serenity, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's like living again, okay? And I was living in the midst of all this turmoil and these horrible situations, but I was joyful. I was like excited and ready. And so, but eventually things got really bad. I mean, really bad. Like everybody next door office got kidnapped and extortion, and just another guy who always compared to me, he was friendly and hardworking and never messed with anybody else. They just kidnapped him, you know? And I was like, okay. And then I just sensed that God wanted me out of my city, out of my country. And you know, it's one of those things that the guy is drowning, right? And they send a boat to rescue him. He's like, no, God's gonna come rescue me. And then they send a helicopter. He's like, no, I'm okay, God's gonna come. And then he died. And then he argued with that, hey, you didn't come to rescue me. Hey, I sent you a boat, I sent you a helicopter. I didn't want to be that guy, okay? just for the record. So, but I thought that God had called me, you know, keep the peaceful life in another country. And so it's like, okay, let's go play football in another place. I thought this type of football. It was that type of football. Okay, so it was, I cannot believe it. I mean, I suffer the greatest challenges of my life. I suffer betrayal. I lost money like crazy every week. I have lawsuits. I have just health issues without going to the doctor because I was, no, I'll be fine. You know, I get worse and worse for a whole year. But God had a purpose for my life, okay? And I know that now, right? But I remember I used to hear this voice over and over. Sergio, are you okay? Of course I'm okay. What are you talking about? Every day. Are you okay? I'm okay. But true the matter is, I woke up in the middle of the night, like almost every day, 3 a.m., like, you know, all sweating and anxiety and worrying. Finally, you know, after hearing this voice many times, I opened the door of my apartment. And by the way, trust me, I even had suicidal thoughts. Just a happy guy to that extreme. It's pretty crazy, but it happened. So one day I just opened the door of my apartment and I fell to the ground. There was me in those moments, but sorry. I fell to the ground and I asked Jesus. I told him, I'm sorry, Lord. Please forgive me. I'm prideful. I just fell to my knees, bawling like a baby, just crying and saying, oh, I'm sorry. I've been all, you know, oh, I can do it. I cannot do this, please. And I started to abide in him and being more humble, you know. And I remember clearly one of the first things that happened, right the very next day, I sat down and I think to myself, you know what? If you can sit down and write at least 10 things that you can be thankful for, you'll be okay. Guess what? I wrote over 200. I was crying. I was like, this God is all mercy and good. So we started a new relationship, kind of like, right? And he showed me people, things, places. And one of the beautiful things that happened to me, I was very selfish. Well, God put in my way this beautiful young lady here. We started a relationship. Woo! Thank you. And also a group of loving brothers in C12. Honestly, I wanted to be closer to him, but guess what? I didn't want to be in all those churches and, you know, I didn't have time. I mean, I was like all about, you know, getting stand up and ready, my business. I have families that depended on me here in the United States and in Mexico, so I have to do it, right? But through this group of loving brothers, one of my first core business presentation, I was given the presentation, and I mean, they were like, brother, your work is beautiful, your company is doing, oh, congrats. And then it's like, but you know what? You're being rebellious against God. I'm like, what? Yeah, you're living with your girlfriend, right? I'm like, yeah. Well, that's in the Bible, it reads it. I was like, oh, come on, guys. So I talked to Alicia, of course, right away, and she was like, no, you don't love me anymore. And I talked to Mike Sharrow, hey, you got to talk to my wife and explain this. It's God's will, not mine. So anyways, we have a conversation, and soon enough, after a few months, I was like, you know what? I heard a pastor say, not what can you read or study to get closer to God, what can you do to be closer to God? The answer, married to my wife. And so we did. And Thank you. But other things that happened is that I fully understood that my business is his business, and I'm just the steward of him. And I talked to several of my team, like, we're going to have Bible studies, and we're going to do this, and whenever you have an opportunity with a client, we're going to talk about God. And they're like, Sergio, is this legal? And I'm like, well, remember those times where we have bent the law to make something happen, very witty and smart? Oh, yeah. Okay, it's the same thing, but backwards, okay? Now we're going to bend it for the Lord. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, okay. So one of the things that completely changed is that we modify our vision, mission, core values. And now I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our mission, is to create beautiful stories to help others achieve success for the glory of God. And man, we feel this. It's in our blood. But I want to extend it to you, my passion. Why are we called to be great storytellers? Why are you, Christian business leaders, called to be great storytellers? Think about it. Let me tell you, number one, it matters to God, okay? In Genesis, it's very clear that it says that God made us in his own image, okay? So we are co-creators of this universe with him, okay? But, very important, these little things, it's just like the little letters at the end of the contract. It's like Genesis 1:31. God saw that all that he had made, and it was very good. It was not like, meh, no. It was God's standard. It was amazing, unbelievable, pristine, okay? I'm telling you this because I talk to many business owners, and they tell me, I ask them, what do you think about your brand and marketing efforts and all that? Oh, okay. So, and you feel okay? Yeah, okay. So, let me tell you, if that's you, that's not the invitation. The invitation is to be excellent, okay? Number two is because as Christians, we're called to be Christ-like, and he was the master storyteller of all time, okay? He was simple in his explanation. He explained with stories. He talked about the bird, the coin, the tree. Yet, as human beings, we like to make things complicated, don't we? And he spoke in Aramaic. He didn't speak in Greek. He spoke the language of the people. So then again, I talk to many people, and sometimes it's like, oh, let's complicate this in marketing or in my brand strategy. No, make it simple. Right? Now, I wanna tell you through all this experience that we have gathered. Mike asked me, hey, please just share like the core key principles to create a great brand, a great story. By the way, branding, it's all about the reputation. It's like increasing the reputation of your company, product, service, etc. And for us, is for the glory of God, right? Okay, so the first key principle, choose a great name, okay? Choose a great name. By the way, you can take notes, but I printed like 1,000 books for y'all. It's all in there. So the first, I want to tell you the story of Jacob. And you all know the story, so I'll be very brief. Jacob wrestled through his whole life, even when he was in the womb of his mother, with the twins. And you know how the story goes. Esau was born first, and Jacob was grabbing Esau's ankle, right? So they call him what? Supplanter, deceiver, Jacob. That's the meaning, right? So he lived his whole life with this struggle, wrestling with that, right? And he lied to his own father when he asked, who are you, my son? Oh, I'm Esau, right? Remember all that story? Well, and he lived in fear that Esau was going to come kill him because he stole his birthright and the blessing of his father, those two things, right? So after 21 years, when he felt that his death was near, he sent his family away, his servant away, and he was alone in this tent. When a man came, and the Bible says in Genesis 32, that wrestled with this man through the whole night, okay? And when the day was about to break, this man told him, please let me go. Of course, this man, it was God in the form of man. Please let me go. He said, I won't let you go until you bless me, right? Okay, you want to be blessed. Tell me your name. I can promise you the entire heaven, everybody was like ready. Listen to his answer, to his response, because this question was familiar to him 21 years earlier, right? He has been lying about it. So I think by this time, Jacob was like fed up with it. He was just wanted to, extend his own identity and get it out there. And, his inadequacies and everything, just come clean, And, yep, I'm Jacob. Okay, from now on, you won't be Jacob anymore. You will be called Israel, which means triumphant with God, because you have wrestled with man and God and overcome. Okay, so this to me is beautiful and meaningful because God has used name, to change names of people and places for certain purposes. And so we as co-creators can do the same thing, So first of all, let me put you this example. This is one of our clients, has an anesthesia information management system, AIMS. It runs across all operating systems. They explained to us, this happens like 3 years ago, and they explained to us how in the medical world, they have like pen and paper, and they were transitioning into all medical, electronic media and records. So we choose the name for them, Anesthesia OS. Pretty simple, short and sweet. I want to give you 5 little tips to create a great name. Make it euphonic, pleasing to the ear, okay? Shorter names rather than longer names. Unique names rather than descriptive. Very important. The 4th is if you have a really unique name, it's easier to trademark, okay? You have to select names that are able to trademark. And number 5, avoid negative connotations. Sometimes we have found impressive names, and guess what? You Google it, and it's like, oh, change the name. Abort. Okay, 2nd, reflect the true identity. And I go back to the story of Jacob, okay? When he came clean, God blessed him tremendously, okay? So for us, is investigate your core belief, your why you're doing this, and express it through the identity. In the words of Michelangelo, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. That's that's what we're all about. That's what the branding is about. It's about uncovering what is already there. So an example is we were in charge to revitalize, rebrand this private airport. It's an FBO, fixed base operations. So we get into the positions of the pilots and the owners of the aircrafts, and what do they? They were already feeling amazing things without us intervening. What was these things? Well, the beautiful blue skies and the air flowing, right? None of this. So this is the redesign. And you can see it when you fly into the International Airport of San Antonio. Number 3, make it inspiring. Let me tell you another thing. When we have gone into companies, what inspires a group of people, it's different from, in other words, every company, they have different types of inspiration things, right? And what inspires you, it reflects your calling, okay? So find out those nuggets of inspiration. And look for over creativity, great creativity, the ones that move the soul into action. And we were called by this Pax Financial Group. They are a recommended company for Dave Ramsey. And they, honestly, when we went there, guess what? They were all about praising the Lord, honestly. I mean, their facilities are used for Bible studies. They talk God with every single client they meet. It's impressive. I was really, really impressed. So, the new icon, a man reaching out, and the yellow part is the light of God coming to the man, just praising the Lord, okay? Pax Financial Group. When we present this image, they cried. He was like crying. So find things that really inspire you, okay? Number 4, build it from core values. This is one of the most important things. Again, sometimes we are approached by business leaders and they're like, oh, you know what? We need a big brand, blah, blah, blah. Make it like an Apple brand and do this and do that. I'm like, well, they're high tech. And they're about changing the status quo and beautiful design products. You are low tech, hardworking. You have different set of values. But we need to go and analyze your values and put the best foot forward of your company, not somebody else's company, your company, okay? And of course, we have some amazing clients that have tremendous, amazing, great, beautiful values. One of them, Torian Corporation, which, by the way, Jeff Jaime just gave a talk recently. And, oh, brother, I mean, when we went with them, we analyzed their values, and their values reflect 3 things, okay? Number 1, they're people-oriented. Number 2, they're very smart. This is a very smart brand because they're in cybersecurity and they serve the Department of Defense. They're a very smart company. And number 3, they're tough. They're tough, okay? Their values is about family first, dream big. Help me, Jeff? Dream, have fun, achieve forward, and give back to the community. Beautiful values. The new brand, this is their new brand. Thank you. Another client, Momentum Physical Therapy. This was their brand, and their values were different. They were all about the highest quality physical therapy. They were about compassion. They were about integrity. And they were about delivering remarkable experience through customer service, through great service. So they summarized everything with this phrase. The phrase was, we get you healthy for life. I'm a patient. I can testify. So the new brand had to reflect that, to be dynamic. We get you healthy for life. So we created what we call the running guy, the running man. This is the new Momentum physical therapy brand. And of course, the positioning is the highest quality physical therapy in the nation, which they can completely stand up for that. 5th key principle, select the right colors. In branding and marketing, we look at three aspects. One aspect is nature. Mother Nature shows us what to feel. When you see like the blue skies, the blue oceans, you feel relaxed and calm, right? So let me tell you, a lot of financial institutions, that's why they use blue, right? Red, you feel excitement and you're all up and ready and all that. Well, it's because you see fire is red, you cut your finger, blood, red. So nature shape what we feel. But green, healthiest of colors, nature, right? But it's not only that. We take into account consideration nature. We take into consideration competition, because if your competitor is very famous in one color, you should move to another color. And we take into consideration cultural aspects as well. So healthy restaurant call us, hey, let's do a great brand. And they were all about salads and subs and just great dishes. And there was the new brand, River Tree, Healthy Bistro. 6, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Okay, branding, great branding, it's all about creating the perfect shortcut into the mind. Just boom. People, it's already clutter. We live in a very noisy days, so make it very simple. Make it direct. Avenida Guadalupe is a nonprofit that educates and serves the Latino community, okay, in the west side of San Antonio. They're an amazing organization. They serve, they educate, they do a lot of things. But when we analyze everything they did, we went into the founders of the Institute, and we found out that they named the place Avenida Guadalupe because of the region of Guadalupe, which is very important in the Latino community. So, but they were very modern in their approach. Their new buildings were very modern style. So the new brand is this one. And you can see the Virgin of Guadalupe there. The 2 triangles is the head. The hands is in white. The light of Christ is in the veil. And that's the new identity. Another example is for Stormfield Innovative Technologies. And they asked us to design the zone as isolation plug. We analyzed everything about the company. They put these plugs like 20,000 feet underground. They put like many plugs. And it's for the extraction of oil and gas. So we were thinking, oh my God, this is complicated. But we analyzed the shape and form of the plug, and it has a very peculiar shape and form. So the new brand is the SIP, and you can see the shape of the plug right in the middle. Beautiful, I think. The 7 key principles. Consistency, consistency, consistency. This is key and very, very important. Remember, Jack, the first talk, he mentioned that it takes 7 exposures for people to make a conscious decision into buying, right? Well, guess what? That was discovered in the 1930s by a group of cinematographers. Guess what? Nowadays, it's way more competitive, way more clutter. Guess what? It takes more time. Let me tell you why I'm telling you this. Because we interview many business owners, and sometimes they have great website, pretty bad lobby and environment, pretty bad uniforms, great something else, and pretty bad something else. It's like, so you need to put out things that are cohesive, standardized. Use same colors, same fonts, but not only that, the same, you have to present the same values that you represent, okay? For example, Red Bull, it's all about conquering fears, right? And everything they do, it's about conquering the fears, right? So this is a client, Costa Solutions, Rod Smith presented last year, and everything they do is beautiful. They have beautiful corporate culture, okay? They have over 600 employees, and they run it like a true ministry. So we help them with the branded environments, You can see their vision there, glorify God by creating an environment where everyone thrive, experiencing joy, peace, and lasting value through the relationship with Costa. Uniforms. You can see now 600 plus people, same uniform, same colors, beautiful. Collateral material, putting out their values. Tumblers, same color all across, same messages, same identity, same process. Guess what? It takes shorter, less time to get it out there. And I'm reaching the end of my talk, and I wanted to end with Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. These have been, it's like a repetitive thing that we have been saying in these past talks. I feel very deeply that we have a big commitment to do a great work, to tell compelling stories about our businesses, okay? And to attract people for the glory of God. Because guess what? Bad people, evil groups are also telling stories, are also telling compelling stories. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, I mean, you name it, right? So we, Christian business leaders, we need to step up the game. I wanna close my talk sharing my dream. And I dream that when God calls me into his presence, he will tell me, son, what is your name? God, my name is Sergio, the one who created beautiful stories for your glory. With a smile on his face, he'll say, well done, my faithful servant. Stories well told move the world. Thank you.